Wonderful that you have come to hear all about the British curriculum. What we're going to look at today is what the British curriculum is, just so that we're all on the same page with that. But the main thing is about the pedagogy at City School. What do we do at the school to ensure that the curriculum is delivered in its best capacities and the only way that it should be delivered is so that the children gain the most out of it. We will also look at the assessments and the marking and feedback and home connection. So everything to do with teaching and learning in one umbrella today so that it's all clear with all the different subjects that we teach in the school. We've got some wonderful team members who've joined us. They're also new teachers at City School, so it's a nice thing that the teachers have joined us. Today, there are parts of the presentation that will be based on curriculum. So I would give you the initial introduction. I'm Ms. Rima, the principal of the school. I also take care of the teaching and learning aspect of the school. But we've got Ms. Sophia as well, who's going to take on some parts of the presentation. She's our vice principal. So welcome, Ms. Sophia.
Hi. Welcome everybody. I'm Sophia. I'm the vice principal and head of secondary. I will be today covering how we conduct teaching and learning in secondary classrooms and curriculum and assessment across the school.
So when we do these parts, if at all later on during the course of the year, because you'll always have questions about it, you can always reach out to us about that. We will also be joined by Ms. Sadaf, our head of primary, who looks at everything under primary. So
yes, I will be talking about how the curriculum is delivered in the primary classes and to get back to your all the learning. Hello, thank you so much.
And we'll be meeting our heads of science and English and math. So Ms. Baji has a bit under the weather today. If she's up to it, she's going to jump in and have a conversation. But otherwise, if you have any queries about how vertically English, math and science is delivered at the school, the three ladies are here. But just be a little considerate of Ms. Vajiga. She's not feeling too well, but she's still jumped in. So thank you so much, Ms. Vajiga. That's Ms. Karuna for you, our head of science. She's right there. You want to come up here, Ms. Karuna, because we are also recording it, so the parents online can see us as well. Ms. Sadaf, I don't think they spotted you. So that's Ms. Karuna, our head of science. Do you want to share a few words?
Yes, hello everyone. I'm head of science and I'm overlooking from EYFS till year 10 science curriculum here in this school, and I'm giving guidance to the teacher how they have to deliver the lesson and how they have to see all the practicals in the school. And I'm really glad to see that how the children are really focusing on skill development. And more we will just give you a brief about science as well.
Ms. Sana, of course, our head of English.
Hello everybody, so I look after the teaching and learning that happens from EYFS up to year 10 and how we go through the curriculum, how we plan and how we design lessons, including all the skills. So we'll see.
Yeah. Ms. Vaji has sat there. Just be comfortable. Don't worry. She's right there. If at all you want to catch up on math, she's right there for you guys. So we'll get started. Thank you, ladies. They will jump in to their part. So like I said, everything about teaching and learning at City School is the team. Okay, there are many different people, there are many experts in here, and that's the best thing about how we deliver the curriculum at the school, because we've got experts doing what they should do and experts knowing what they should do, and that's the classic reason why we got the solid good in the first inspection cycle, which is 2024-25, which was just a remarkable thing, and we wouldn't have been able to do it without the expertise that's there within the team as such. The person that's missing today is Ms. Noor, our head of MOE. She's just had a baby, so she's on her maternity leave, but we've got a wonderful MOE team who's sitting here to support any kind of conversations that you need about Islamic and Arabic. So they're here if you've got any queries at the end. So moving on, it's the UK National Curriculum. Okay, that's what it is called. There are two ways about it. It's one national curriculum booklet. So sometimes parents do keep coming and asking, do you all follow Cambridge, do you all follow Oxford, do you all follow this form of curriculum or that form of curriculum? No, it is the UK National Curriculum. Alright, that's what it is called. The providers could be Cambridge, the providers could be Oxford, the providers could be Pearson's. The providers are Collins. At school, we've got two providers that we take support from in learning materials. It's Collins and Pearson's. That's the provision that we go through. You'll see if you've got younger children, you'll have a mixed booklet of Collins, which we generally take our English from Collins for EYFS to primary. But all to secondary, everything is towards PSLs, because at their IGCSE levels we're looking at the EdXL board, which is through the PSLs format. So that is a little bit of just general information for you all. The curriculum always talks about creativity, critical thinking, flexibility. That's there in any curriculum of the world. That's what we want children to be and do. There is a huge emphasis on the 21st century skills that we focus on when we deliver the curriculum at the city school in Sharjah as well. It's no rocket science. It's something that all of us know as teachers, and it's something that you definitely want as parents as well. You want your children to be critical thinkers. You want them to be creative. You want them to be innovative. You want them to be imaginative, because that's the world that we're moving towards. The jobs that our children are going to do a few years from now are not even invented today, okay? But what you need to do through an education process is not teach them what needs to be done 10 years from now or 20 years from now. You need to allow them to be equipped, to be creative, to be problem solvers, to be imaginative, so that anything that comes across their way, they are resilient enough to take it forward. That's what education needs to be. And that is exactly what education is at City School. It's building the future generation of children. So all of the 21st century skills is embedded into every single minute and second of the day your child walks into the school. Okay, right from the time we greet them, to the morning assemblies, to the lessons that are being taught in the classrooms, to their break time interactions, to the projects that they go out and do, to the presentations that we have, to the events that we do. Everything our teachers actually comprise all of the skills that they should have. Technology, whether it's media, whether it's their leadership skills. So all of this is constantly being reviewed at our end, so that we can equip the children. What we want to do is nurture these children to be future leaders. Again, just looking at what curriculum could do to children and how it can be delivered at every different level. What happens at our level is mastery and working at greater depth. That's what we want the curriculum to always be. So these are courses that are delivered. Okay? When we say courses, when we say Key Stage 1, it's a course material of year 1 to year 2. Key Stage 2 starts from year 2, year 3, all the way to year 6. So these are spans of time that we have, so that we can allow them to master it. We can allow them to work at greater depth. So what we do, and we call it at our end, is a spiral curriculum. Okay, so when a course material is taught to the children, we allow children to learn it. The next year they may go and practice what they've learned this year and open up a bit more. The third year they may actually open up a bit more. So it's a spiral and a vertical format. And that's the reason why what we said with our heads of subjects, they're looking at the vertical planning of science and of math and of English across the school, so that we can allow children to reach mastery in what they're learning. We can allow them to work at greater depth in the understanding of what is being taught. So to bring it down to layman's term, if you say that, especially younger children, my child can already count from 0 to 100. That's great. Just because a child knows to do 0 to 100 does not mean that they may know the applications of what they could do with 0 to 100. What is measurements of 0 to 100? Where are the applications of these numbers? What else can we do? We will not now do, or rather say that if he knows till 100, we're going to teach them to 200. That's not mastery. What we're going to do is go back in depth into how they can use this knowledge. Similarly in experiments in science, similarly in writing skills in English. How can I use this in different contexts to understand the usage of what is being taught? So there is very less of shallow learning that happens at the city school, and there's absolutely very less of just meeting expectation, which means that I deliver something and I'm just expecting you to learn this. No. You learn it, yes, because that's what you need to do. You've got to understand what I'm teaching, so that how are you going to use it. The application aspect of it is something that we genuinely focus on in every lesson of ours across all subjects of the school. Just a simple draft of what the curriculum looks like at TCSIS. It's nothing but knowledge based, it's experience based, it's skill based for us. There's a lot of ambitious choices that we allow children to make within the curriculum that we actually deliver, and especially as they keep moving towards their IGCSE years, there are choices of subjects that they can choose. So a lot of balance that is provided to the children, and the teachers work alongside that. So we do look at the entire pedagogy of the program at the school is a trusted relationship between the understanding of what you understand of the curriculum as parents and children and as a team at the school. Bloom's taxonomy is nothing but the levels of how we need to allow children to progress in every concept that we learn, or every lesson that's taught, or every focus, or every topic. Okay, so anything that we teach them and introduce to them, we'll start with the processes, but what we want to do is reach this level in almost every topic that we teach, whether it's science, English, maths, Arabic, Islamic, any, computing. This is what we want to finally allow them to reach, because it allows them to start using their higher order thinking skills. So a teacher may teach a particular concept, they understand all of that. Okay, they start applying it in their project work. But at the end of it, a child, and Bloom's is something that is widely used across the globe for allowing children to reach the higher order thinking skills. So this is something, again, another conversation you can have with the children, because the teachers use these terminologies in the classrooms, in the lessons. I'd like you to now create something out of it by yourself. You've understood the concept, what will you use this to create? So when we have science exhibitions, the concept that they have learned, what are they using it and how are they creating something out of it? Similarly, on regular classroom days, then they go to the lab, they're creating these experiments and finding out the hypothesis by themselves and checking out what happens. So this is pretty much the 3 bands that every 40-minute lesson is focusing on at the school when you walk into observations in their classrooms. Right from FS1, which is our youngest children, all the way to year 10. But we all know this as parents and as educators. We say this in the education terminology, Maslow always before Bloom. So the Maslow hierarchy was nothing but that a child needs to feel safe and secure and loved and cared for before you can actually allow them to start doing higher thinking order skills. So this is something that I'm sure you all do realize that and appreciate that about how the curriculum is delivered at the city school. You will see that there's a genuine warmth about the team, and this is something that we practice day in and out. It doesn't come easy, but it's something that we have built as our culture and pretty much like as our USP, where if a child is not necessarily feeling that his psychological needs are met, he or she doesn't necessarily feel safe or secure at school. He does not necessarily feel the sense of love or belonging at school. His self-esteem and self-actualization, where he feels like I'm self-reliant, that will never blossom. So what we genuinely do in our classrooms, right from circle time or right from the time we actually enter the gate, we do nurture that sense of belonging, that this is an extension of home for them. This is a place that they can genuinely feel that they can communicate with their teachers. They've got a little family over here. So it is pretty much us being a part of a community, because neither can you do this by yourself, nor can we do this by ourselves. So we're in this journey together where we can support our children, because every child's needs are different. Yes, there's a curriculum framework, but every child fits at different levels in those. So in a classroom setting, what we as teachers do is we understand their baseline requirements, whether it is, like we said, their Maslow requirements and their learning requirements of where I can challenge them, because every child is different. And again, every child will be different with every aspect of learning and every subject as well. They may be experts in maths, but not so much in English. They may be really analytical and very good in computer science, but not so much in music. They don't have the creative aspect, and that's fine. So this is where within the classroom, how does this look like? This looks like in a format of differentiation. So again, the teachers look at who are the children in my classroom. I've got 20 or 25 of them. Where is each child's level of learning? Because that's where she then does the differentiated approach of teaching and learning. So there's a lot of data that we do collect So the data also belongs to the well-being category of the children. How are they feeling? What do they feel like today? Are they happy to come to school? So we do something called as a PASS assessment, which is the pupil's attitude towards school and self. So that is one aspect of it. We do have counseling sessions for children. We do meet the children because unless they're happy, they can't thrive, they can't study, and it becomes very, very difficult. So we will have supportive sessions with parents regarding that as well. So this is something that we generally do focus on at school as well. The learning progress checks are the next thing. What do you need to know as parents? Is my child progressing? What do we need to know as teachers and phase leaders and SLT and principal of the school? I just want to know that my children are progressing. Each one progresses at a different rate. That's different, but are they progressing? That's what we want to know, because the progress can be this much to this much to this much. You know, every child progresses and learns and grows at their own level and pace. But as long as they progress, what we do to do the checks is a lot of formative assessments and a lot of summative assessments. And we are going to get to that, where you will understand how we do the formative assessments and the components of what we do in our summative assessments. Because at the end of the day, this is why you brought the children to school. You know, so they of course are learning and gaining all the knowledge. But the main thing is, how are they progressing through this journey? There are very many things. I've just listed out a few, which is regular things that we do is teacher observations. Like I said, we do the baselines of education, of well-being. We do their work scrutiny, which means the content that goes in their notebooks, what needs to be presented, how it needs to be presented. A lot of project-based learning, research-based learning, a lot of interactive, peer learning sessions that happens between children as well. And all of this gets documented in a formative way, which is like checkpoints that we call it, which gets added up to a summative thing where you as parents get the summative end of term reports and the end of year reports. So this is how learning progress is checked. Now I'm just going to break it down back to first with EYFS, because I'm the expert in EYFS in early years. Then Sanaf is going to step in with primary, and then Sophia with secondary aspect of it, so that you've got complete clarity on what generally happens in all the three phases of the school. The EYFS curriculum is beautiful. Okay, it is very well balanced out. There's a book called The Development Matters. It's the non-statutory guideline. So if you have got any young children, this is exactly what we follow. It's a guideline that starts from 0 to 5, right from the time of inception of the child in the mother's womb till the time the child is born at 24 months, all the way till their age of 5. It revolves around 7 areas of learning. I'm going to just switch to the next slide. So these are 7 areas of learning. You may call it subjects, if that makes it more easier for you to understand. It's got communication and language, physical development and personal, social, emotional development. The first 3 are called as the prime areas of learning. So whenever we start interacting with children, this is what we focus on, so that we can develop those skills before they can move into literacy, maths, understanding the world, which is science, and expressive arts, which is your arts and design and music. So we don't go into any specific learning until we can fix the first 3 for the children and facilitate a lot of learning interactions for the children on those. So many children, especially children who are born in the COVID generation, and in fact this is the year that they're coming to school, they've had this more than this. So they all know their numbers, shapes and colors and alphabets, and because they have been learning it from the tablet, from the screens, and they've missed out the connections with the children. They've missed out interaction and people skills and personal social development, and they've missed out communication and language, because the tablet, they can't communicate back with it. The tablet speaks to them. So we do see a lot of the learning challenges and learning delays in children, and this is proven by science. So apart from these, there's a switch that happens with the learning goals. So every learning area has learning goals and targets that the children need to meet. So this is something that we focus on. Everything happens through play-based learning. The designing of the lessons are through play-based interaction for the children. That's how the curriculum is delivered at the city school. So in 2023-24, we did have our baseline. So when you start a new school, as per any education authority in the UAE, they give you the first 3 years, and the 3rd year they come in to do a baseline checkpoint. Our early years facility was given good in the baseline. So we were solidly good right away because we do understand this beautifully well. It is delivered beautifully well because we also help children bridge from earliest learning to the year 1 primary curriculum in a very, very gentle way. And so what we have, the first 3 years of our school is called the early years phase, which is FS1, FS2 and year 1. Although year 1 is where the journey of primary starts, but we do a bridging in, and you will see that when you go into the year 1 classrooms as well. There's a lot of interactive hands-on learning experiences that are provided in year 1 as well across all the subjects that we go. And then we actually move on the same journey across through primary because all the learning lessons that happen in the classrooms are very, very interactive. Moving on from here, we've got the subjects that go across Key Stage 1 to Key Stage 4, and I think Ms. Sadaf is the best person to jump in here. She's just going to speak through the different subjects because after EYFS, then it goes into, your subjects. So there you go, Ms. Sadaf, that's for you.
Thank you so much. Okay. So speaking about subjects, I will tell you it is closely aligned with primary and secondary. There are many things which will match in primary and secondary. So the highlighted ones in green are the subjects which is as per mandated of UAE. These are subjects which are compulsion from the government. Then the ones in blue, these are the ones which we teach as per the National Curriculum of England. These are subjects which your children will be learning in different key stages. Key stage 1 we have, apart from French, we have all the subjects in key stage 1. Key stage 2 we have all. So starting from year 5 onwards, French is a third language that we teach the children. Key stage 3 we have the subjects, and key stage 4 is where the IGCSE starts and they have their elective subjects that they learn. This is a document, this is a booklet that comes from the national curriculum. All the learning that your children are doing in the classroom as per British curriculum is happening from this document. It is called the National Curriculum of England, and you have the learning intention, the learning topics, if you call it the subjects, specific learning, it comes from this. The learning of chocolates would look like this. We take the same thing in our school and we deliver the same thing. So in the topic of plants, there will be different learning intention that we embed in the curriculum learning for the children. So if you read, identify and describe the functions of different plants and flowers, this will be the same thing that we put in a focus letter, which looks like this. It comes to you every Thursday from the teachers, and the teachers would be then giving you a gist of what are they going to do in this learning intention. So whatever the learning is happening from the document given by the National Curriculum of England and delivering it in the play-based learning to the children or hands-on learning. We take the same learning intention and put it into our assessment grid. So this is something that we'll be talking about a lot more when we introduce how assessment is done at TCSIS. The teachers would teach the learning intention, then they do the grading of the students based on against the learning intention. So if, for example, one learning intention is finished, they mark the children then on 4 criteria, that is beginning, developing, secure and greater than. So it has numbers. We'll explain it to you in our next session. This is all about the national curriculum and learning intentions. This school is a very diverse school. We have children coming from different nationalities. We have about 32 to 34 different nationality of children coming to school, coming with different values, different culture and different background. We deliver the lesson, we deliver the learning to the children, keeping this in mind, where we are making the children to wonder, to investigate, to record, to discover, to think, to try and reflect. Our major part, if you look in the book's coming home to you, there will be purple pen where teacher would have written reflection. When the children learn, the teacher gives them a marking and feedback. They do this session where they give them marking and feedback. Then the teacher gives them time to reflect on what they need to do more in this. Okay? So, and the marking and feedback happens against the learning intention. Whatever the learning intention would be, teacher marks the children based on that.
And once the marking and feedback is done, then they give them a reflection time to reflect what more they can do or what is something that they need to go and do it again. This is how the learning happens in primary classroom. Children work together. They are almost always hands-on. They discover by themselves, they investigate. They are working together in collaboration, thinking about concepts. It will be hands-on. It will be children doing it and then recording the work in the notebook. So this is how it looks. We did. So up until here. If you see children coming to school and working in collaboration, we do it mainly to make them aware of the life skill that they will be facing in their future life, to make them more resilient, more collaborative, more tolerant towards one another. The basic concept of delivering lessons like this is to make them resilient towards the world that they're going to face. Now, in primary, lesson planning and delivering is done through play-based learning or hands-on learning or collaboration or any other way, but it is connected at the end with home connection. The teachers do send you all a template of home connection on Thursday, uploaded with PWFL. It is more, so there will be different kind of home connection that is sent. Maybe making a presentation, maybe making a model, maybe going on a tour with parents and exploring the sea or the beach, collecting stones or making a Stone Age tool or doing a worksheet, handwriting practice, any way. You can receive the home connection in any way. The document reads about it. Why do we do it? Why is there, what is the purpose of sending a home connection? Is to build the connection between home and school. If your child finds it difficult, so what do I mean by home connection is if your child finds it difficult to do a certain home task, it is not for you all to sit with them and teach them. It is for you to then come back to the teacher and tell her, Miss, my child is finding it difficult, can you just assist them? This is the meaning of home connection. For you to know what is the progress of my child in this learning intention. What more do we need to do as parents to support the children? So once you get back to the teacher that this is where he's finding it difficult, or you ask your children to go back to the teacher and speak to them that this is where I'm finding the challenge, it will be more of children taking ownership of their learning. So to instill this, and then once the children are doing the home connection, it gives you an understanding of what is the progress of that my child is doing based on this learning intention. If there's a learning intention given in the home, in the PWFL and a home connection related to it, how far has my child come in? What is the marking and feedback the teacher has given to the child? And what is the next step he has done in the classroom? Or is it completed? Is the home connection being done properly? The major thing to send home connection is for you all to understand how independent is my child on, or how much involved am I getting as a parent in the child's learning, which is what we don't want. You need to give the free way to the children to do the home connection by themselves. And if I talk about, so if we talk from Key Stage 1, that is year 1 and 2, until year 4, the home connection documents come every day. But from year 5 to year 10, we give them an open assignment. We assign assignments to children where they need to work on. We still give them the choice to take the books home every day if there is a work that needs to be completed. So these are different ways where we're trying to make children independent and take ownership for their learning. Strengthening the bond between home and school, as I told you all, it is a connection between you as parents and us as educators in school. Reading and learning partners. Now this point is somewhere I want to emphasize. As you read the focus letter that comes from the vice principal and principal, it is written always 20 minutes of reading with the children. It plays an important role. Even if we miss out a worksheet, but if we miss on the reading with children, it does have a lot of impact. Reading with children, sitting with them, talking about or delivering a story to them or asking them to read a story for us is somewhere it will build a kind of confidence where they will be able to speak up themselves, and you will be able to find out the pointers of words where they don't understand. So this is something which we emphasize a lot, or reading with children. Then keeping lines of communication open. So the point I told you, if there is a connection or a task which a child is not able to do independently, please send it back to the teacher. Let your child go and speak to the teacher and tell them that this is where I'm finding it challenging. Especially for the older children, where they become shy. They feel like if I tell the teacher, she will think I don't know. It's not true. You have to have the word with your children to go and speak to the teacher. Ask your teacher what it is, because it is not you being the teachers, it is teachers playing the role of pushing the children towards the level of greater than. Yeah, this is all about home connection in primary. It is really a little close related to secondary, which Ms. Sobia will speak about. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Sadaf and Ms. Prema. So, talking about home connection in secondary, as Ms. Sadaf said, that it's pretty much similar to the belief system, how we design activities and home connection tasks for our children in primary and in secondary. Talking about secondary students, the thought process behind designing the assignments and the tasks and all the activities is just this. We want them to be independent learners. We want them to be learners to be taking complete responsibility of the learning. We want our children to be responsible enough and to be aware enough of their own schedules, of their own responsibility, that these are the books I need to carry home because these are my assignment submission dates. The reason why we do that, the reason why we push it back to our secondary students and train them on these skills is that these are the lifelong skills that are going to help them to thrive. They are going to help them to be the person that they need to be, in case in future if they are facing any difficulty, if they are facing any problem, if they are stuck somewhere, they should be able to think and understand, where have I gone wrong? What was my responsibility in it? If I fail to submit an assignment or meet a deadline, what should I have done better? The whole idea is to train them on these values so that they take charge of their learning. Now, the assignments that are designed are mandatory. They are graded for secondary students. Maybe not all of them, but there will be assignments that will be graded, and those scores that they achieve will be a part of their summative assessment, their overall performance during the academic year. It does add to the overall progress in learning because the kind of assignments we design for them in home connection in secondary are of varied kinds, which includes flipped learning lessons, online assignments, or it's a field work that is assigned to them, it's a research-based study, inquiry-based study, or it's a presentation that they just need to prepare and come in and deliver in the classroom. In this process, they are developing many different skills at the same time, which boosts their confidence, again, the responsibility of learning, independence, gathering information, collection of data. So there are so many skills that are involved in these activities that are designed for them. Now, as Ms. Rima, as Ms. Sadaf briefed you about the different subjects that are being offered across the key stages, but in secondary, from year 9 onwards, there are certain elective subjects that we are offering as a part of our IIT-CSE qualification. What we are currently offering to our students is English as a second language, literature, science double award, mathematics, business studies, economics, geography, information, ICT. These are the IIT-CSE qualifications that we are currently offering to our secondary students of year 9 and 10. Now, how do we, the other subjects that were shared earlier and these, how do we plan to deliver, how do we intend to deliver these lessons is having all these skills in the back end. What we create, what we develop for our secondary students is an intense learning environment where we set very high expectations for our students. We challenge them at a pace that they can take on well, and if they are struggling somewhere, we guide them through the process. We do skill-focused learning. That is something that we definitely do across the key stages from EVA-FS to primary to secondary, but in secondary we do place more emphasis on analyzing and creation and evaluation because these are the skills that we want to instill in our students. We do not want them to just accommodate with shallow learning. We constantly push them towards mastery and great depth. Independent learning culture is encouraged by assigning them research-based tasks, collaborative tasks, and the tasks that require for them to go ahead and collect data and bringing in that information. Critical thinking and problem-solving skills is we train our children to question. We train them to reason. We train them to be a critique. We train them to analyze different perspectives. These are the learning strategies we use being the British curriculum school, because we are preparing our children for their IGCSE examinations, which is the last part where their learning gets summed up. That's the second last step. A-levels is the step where in a British curriculum it does get summed up. But if we talk about an IGCSE pattern exam, it's not about memorization, it's not about rote learning. They would ask you to apply and analyze and evaluate, and this is the format of questions that are there in IGCSE examinations, and this is the reason why we highly emphasize on all these skills, scaffolding, continuous assessment, and emphasis on literacy across research and inquiry-based learning, so that we train our children that thought process comes naturally to them when they are attempting an IGCSE examination. The lessons are planned in a manner that the knowledge they need to have is embedded in them in a way that they are confidently able to apply that knowledge in their examination cycle. Okay? So this is the reason why the lessons are designed in such a manner. When our subject leads will come and talk about it, they will talk in depth about how in ENC subjects like English, Math and Science, we focus on delivering our lessons across the years based on these skills. Now when we deliver these lessons, we conduct assessments. There are different types of assessments that are conducted in school. There are formative assessments, summative assessments, standardized and diagnostics. Formative assessments are assessments that are conducted every single day. There are quizzes, there are simple class tests, it could be everyday work done by the child as well. So the assessment platform that Ms. Sadaf showed you, against learning intentions, formative assessment is conducted so that teachers and parents and children all can keep a track of their learning as we are going ahead in the journey. So if there are any learning gaps in any skills, the teacher comes back, they revisit it, they design the lesson in a different way so that if a child is able to grasp a concept in a certain way, they would be able to do in another. And if still not, what are the strategies teachers need to put in place to ensure that the child is there where they are supposed to be in a certain year group. So those are basically formative assessments. Summative are basically the unit tests, the end of term exams, and the project-based learning comes under summative assessments as well, because we, being a British curriculum school, really focus on project-based learning that allows children to come up with their creations that they are able to showcase the skills that they have learned, the knowledge that they have applied into creating the project. Then we come to the standardized assessments. They are the external assessments basically. We conduct CAT4, progress test, star reading tests, PASS. These are basically the assessments that are conducted to align our judgments. So there is assessment that is internally being done by the school, and there are external assessments. These are prescribed by the ministry as well for us to conduct, and these are similar assessments for the whole world, so to judge the performance of a child in a certain year group. This is the reason why these assessments are conducted. CAT4 is an assessment which helps teacher understand the needs of a child, how a child learns best. So this is the reason why these different assessments are conducted, and then that data is used in planning the lessons. Diagnostic assessment is basically what teachers conduct to understand the starting point of the children. As they come in, they will conduct baseline assessments to understand where the child's level currently is, and how they need to plan the lessons in order to ensure that their level is elevated to the point or they are working at an age appropriate level where they should be. This is the assessment criteria that we follow for a coding process, where in E5FS the weightage of assessment is 100% formative, so is in Key Stage 1. In Lower Key Stage 2, the end of term report will rely 80% on formative and 20% on summative. For Key Stage 2, which is year 5 and 6, it will be 60% formative, 40% summative. In 7 to 9, there is high reliance on summative and 40% on formative, and in secondary we do there is high weightage for summative assessment than formative, because over here we have to see their performance in the mock exams and the end of term exams that are being conducted, because over here in year 10 and 11 we are training them mainly to conduct the examinations and how to sit in IGCSE. This is the attainment descriptors that we follow. Our children being aligned by the stay lines. These are the 9 attainment descriptors and these are the stay lines. Now this is directly aligned with our attainment descriptors or grading criteria of IGCSE. So this is what we use internally from primary, from primary to year 10. We will be conducting another workshop, in detail workshop on assessment and marking and feedback, because this is an area parents need to have clarity on, that when we are delivering the curriculum, how the children are being assessed so they can also support them in the process. Now, why do we conduct marking and feedback? We do not conduct it for parents to see where the children, what the children are doing and where they are at. We do not conduct it for teachers to know how the child is doing. We in this school conduct marking and feedback for the students only. We want our children to look at their piece of work and learn from it and make progress to where they currently are. And that is the reason why our marking and feedback policy is very unique. You are all aware of the template with you all must have seen the notebooks where you've seen, some ticks under it and there is a star and there is a next step. That is a marking and feedback policy, where we do not mark just to show children where they have gone wrong. We mark children to understand what they have done right and how they can develop on that learning. Our marking and feedback is focused on learning intention, and that is the reason why you don't see each and every page marked. You don't see each and every mistake corrected, because there is no point of doing that. It is too much, cognitive load for a child to look at a marked work with so many mistakes identified when the purpose of learning in that lesson was entirely different. Okay, so we just do focus marking on the learning intention, how well a child has performed in a certain skill that they were supposed to apply or analyze or create or evaluate. Again, we just do it for key objectives, self-correction, for them to make progress, for them to reflect on what they have done, and we do balance verbal and written feedback. It's not just marking that is done in the notebooks. When the lessons are going on, teachers are constantly going around in the classroom with the children and verbally guiding them, this you've done right, this you need to correct, this you can enhance, this you can make better, because it's a continuous learning process. Okay? This is our policy for marking and feedback. There is a star, there is a next step. Star is against the learning intention, what the children have achieved. Next step is how we can enhance it further, how we can provide them opportunities to apply in different situations, so that learning that they have done, they achieve mastery in it, okay? Or they should be able to work at a greater depth, apply their knowledge at a greater depth. This is the format. As you see, you would not see many tiny mistakes highlighted, spelling corrections done. Spelling corrections will be done in the lesson where spelling is a focus. Where it is concept focused, concept will be checked, concept will be marked. Okay, and then the children, they read what are the next steps the teachers have given, and using a purple pen, they reflect on it. This is just a sum up of what I have mentioned. Based on the performance of the child in the notebook's work, the teacher will be marking whether the child is working at beginning, developing, secure, or a great depth level. And then from that notebook, whatever the child has produced, this is where the connection comes, where it goes back into our assessment system and the children are marked that against every learning intention where they currently are. This is just a peek through into our summative assessment system, which we will be talking about in detail. But there are a set of tests and quizzes and end of term assessments, and a cumulative of that, and the formative assessment formulates our child's end of term report. The benefits of British curriculum are that it is a globally recognized system. We do focus on breadth and depth of knowledge. It is a well-defined key stage and provide clear understanding of progress, and it does encourage growth beyond the classroom. Now, to cover these steps, that when we talk about focusing on both breadth and depth, it is a well-defined key stage, provide clear understanding of progress. This is where our subject leads come in, who ensure that based on how the curriculum is designed, that breadth and depth is provided, and the children who are continuing the learning journey with us from year 1 to year 10 have that greater depth of knowledge that they need to have in the beginning, which is age appropriate. Okay, so please allow me to call Miss Sana to take it from here, because she will be talking about how we connect learning subject specific areas for English, Maths and Science across from EYFS to year 10.
Alright, so I will be focusing specifically on English. So as we know that our curriculum is aligned with the national curriculum for England, and Ms. Rima already spoke about the spiral curriculum that we follow. For example, it's progressive. And why spiral? Why spiral? Can anybody guess why spiral? So each skill, like for example, we have 4 skills: reading, writing, speaking and listening. So each skill, within each skill, the concepts are revised and students go to progression. They show progress from EYFS till year 9. And this is how we approach learning. This is how students learn these concepts over the years. I'll give you one example. One of my students came to me and she said, "Miss, we have done this before." Like for example, adverbs. "Miss, we did it in year 4. Miss, we did it in year 5. But have they applied that knowledge? Have they attained that mastery to that level? So this is our aim. So we take all these skills, we take all these knowledge, starting from EYFS, going to year 1, 2, 3, 4, and up till year 9. This is how we integrate all the skills. But when they come to IGCSE, these skills get separated when they opt for English as a second language. Also, if we look at skills, we go for an integrated method. Like all this listening, reading, writing, they are taught collectively in an integrated manner. And like for example, in a group discussion, what are we doing? We're listening, we're speaking. So we offer them, we give them opportunities to have group discussions, debates, presentations, flipped learning, like Ms. Sophia said. We give them opportunities to research, and this is how we incorporate our curriculum in a form of an integrated approach. Similarly, we give them real life context, and all these situations prepare them for real life scenarios when they opt for their future careers. Also, there is a primary focus on phonics at EYFS level, and we have also approached storytelling, and this also creates a very realistic environment for them to relate. So whatever happens in our department, whatever happens in English, reading, writing, speaking and listening, it is all engaging, and the activities are student-centered. One thing more that I want to add to it is metacognition. What we do is that we make students aware of their understanding of their own learning. So while this learning is happening inside the classroom, they know, they go back and reflect on what they do. They reflect on their peers' work. Oh, what I have learned, what they have done. And this is how they reflect and they learn and they think about their own learning. So this is how we approach our English curriculum. So I would like to invite Ms. Vajika to brief about our math curriculum that is being taught from your EYFS hospital.
Okay, so mathematics in this school, I must say, has changed and evolved tremendously over past 1 year, which is because of a mutual vision that we have for maths. Now, let me start with a very small incident of the time when I used to learn maths. It was all very traditional. I never understood why I had to sort of do this if I was dividing fractions. Sorry. Why did I have to do this and then this? I just never got that concept growing up. And when I became a teacher, I got to teach maths. That's when I started exploring how to teach maths in a better manner. And I came to know a lot of things that maybe my teachers missed. So as a vision, we actually in the maths community across school want to develop confident, curious and critical thinkers. Maths is not just a product, which was in our time. Maths is a process. That is why when your child will be doing, when two children will be solving a question in two different manners, we will never stop them. We will tell them the end product will be the same, but the way you reach to that is different. And we want to take maths not just as a subject, but it is a real life application. You go to the grocery store, what do you do there? You use maths. When you use maths in daily life, it inspires lifelong learning. It empowers students to think in a very mathematical manner. Sometimes my students come up with solutions I haven't even thought of. And maths actually develops resilience, creativity in an ever-evolving society. Now when maths is taken just as mathematics and not as an evolutionary subject, you will just see it as adding, subtracting, multiplying and dividing numbers. But in today's world, maths is used in algorithms, which is part of just the very simple basis of AI, robotics, coding, everything depends on maths. If your child is not strong in maths, they might not evolve from a COVID-like situation, right? So, we enable our, now, why we do vertical planning, like Ms. Sana and everyone has reiterated, and I will reiterate, is that we have vertical, not just vertical needs, but horizontal needs as well. Now, if I have two teachers, but vertical needs are simply year 1 connecting to year 2 connecting to year 3. But what if there are 3 teachers teaching year 3? Are they horizontally connecting it? Okay? Is the subject being integrated with science, with English? Is it being integrated with other subjects or not? That's also horizontal planning. Okay, so during maths planning lesson meetings, we talk about all these things. Now, in a very recent observation that I had with Ms. Sana, we saw beautiful examples. I'll quote 2 beautiful examples. One was a teacher using UK and UAE examples to create marketing. She was teaching negative numbers and she was asking them to create marketing tools for her class, which was a project-based one. In a primary classroom, a teacher was using Stone Age and getting students to go into the future, into the past and develop a market, for currency, pricing in the classroom in maths. So these are just very simple examples how vertically and horizontally we connect maths across the school. Now, why do we do it? What is our mission? Because we want to drive, we have reached progress to a very good, secure place. But we want to drive attainment as also to the next level, which is according to our personal, school and sphere vision and mandate. Now we do keep the UAE Vision 2030 in view at all times. Okay, so how is this being fulfilled? We had wonderful
internal and external, which is seen as internal evaluation quality assurance division of the head office of the city school, and we have the SPN inspections as our evidence. So what we did is we're going for a very focused approach this time. We're approaching maths through real life experiences, through mini maths project-based learning, which is like it can take 3 lessons to achieve that small project, 2 to 3 lessons, not more than that. And we are focusing on something called as teaching maths for mastery, which is until my child does not know this, I will not move ahead. I will not extend this to subtracting fractions. Now, why does this happen? Is because NCFE is focused on a mastery rigor-based approach. You do not leave, unlike other curriculum, and I have taught other curriculum, you do not leave the child just to guess around what is happening. The NCFE focuses on developing that rigor. Why is that rigor needed? Is because in IGCSE, everything from year 1 till across the year 11 is assessed. Okay, we have a mentor, we have a wonderful program in maths where we assign a new teacher, a mentor from the old teachers. Why do we do that? It's because an old teacher's experience can come in handy, and that new teacher will gain confidence. Her well-being is taken care of, she is being accommodated as per the school's vision. Okay, we also have co-planning and co-teaching with me as the head of maths. My teachers have my timetable. They tell me, Miss, we want to plan this with you for this classroom, and they will come and they teach that classroom with me. Now, why do I want to do that? It's because sometimes I might just be very rigid in my approach because I do teach higher classes. But an EYFS teacher might have a wonderful, more creative idea, while I can help her maybe learn some differentiation skills, right? So it's the wonderful way of not just teaching teachers, but also from learning from them, and also preparing the next line of confident, critical thinking teachers. We have been very successful in conducting our own internal school competitions, and we are focused on inter-school competitions. One of the emails has been shot out to year 5 and 6 parents, and will be shot out to 7 to 10 parents across the weekend now. So that was all from me, and I'd like to welcome Ms. Karuna for the same.
Thank you, Ms. Vajeha, for explaining a lot about the departmental-wise, planning, how we are doing, and we are adopting this for all science, English, and maths as well. So I'm not going to explain about that. But just I need to give a reflective statement about science, how we are working with that. We are encouraging children to take all the content as a real life connection. For example, if we want to inculcate in the lesson that how the gravitational potential energy works, so instead of just teaching them, we just give them, the children, chance to work on that skill and make them understand how we can actually work ahead with that skill, right? And then more real world examples are really helping for the science to happen. As Ms. Sadaf also explained how the science is going on, it is all activity-based learning, where the children are actually working alongside with their teachers, and then they are exploring. So our main motive is just make them to understand with hands-on learning experience. Then a part of our teaching in the classroom, we are focusing on their laboratory sessions. STEM focus activities are also included in our curriculum, as well as we are encouraging children to just work on their critical thinking and problem solving skills, where they can actually understand how the concept has to be understood during the classroom. So those lab sessions are really helpful for them. So if you have seen our newly open biology and physics lab, where we are trying to inculcate all the instruments and the laboratory items which are really helpful for the children to understand their biology and physics lessons. It will be really helpful for them. And this year we have divided our all science right from year 7. They are taking physics, chemistry and bio, which will help them to understand what actually the approach for these different domains are. So this is really supportive for all the children to get ready with their IGCSE, because right from 7 onwards we are making them prepare to understand and how they can approach with the different skills. So I will not take much time. I think a lot has been discussed already by SLT members and my colleagues. Any question related with the science? Sorry. I just wanted to interact actually. Any question? Have you seen in 1 year how your child is developing the skills in the science? Anything? Just I want you to discuss any example or something that the child is coming up with lots of ideas. Yes, we have seen this in the lab and I have done it.
Eventually, they are developing the skills of identify different senses, what senses are used for what. So this is how internally science is connected to each other.
That's the basis for the future.
Absolutely. So when they come in year 1, year 2, they are able to make connections with the explorations that they have done during the biology.
Okay, and through the all project-based learning, whatever is their compiling work that we actually display during our science and innovation exhibition, where a lot of projects are kept, and I think you have all already visualized those learning compilation that we have put across for all the parents. Okay, so that's the chance for the children to work alongside with their science team and how they are showing those skills into a beautiful science and innovation projects.
That's a good question that you asked. You missed the beginning part because we started with IFS and then primary and secondary. Go through this booklet, it's widely available. Just like the National Curriculum of England, this is something that we use for EYFS. You just type EYFS, this is the first thing that comes up. It's a non-statutory book. That's Understanding the World is Science. So there are just documents that you can actually go through it and see. And this is actually the mandate that we use for building and developing our curriculum. So understanding the world, like Mr. and Ms. Karuna just said, that's the aspect of science that comes in our lives.
Alright, thank you so much.
Our purpose over here every single day is to shape our children into well-rounded citizens. That's all we do. Shape them into individuals who are ready to go in the outer world and face its challenges confidently. This is the purpose, and that's what British curriculum offers, and we rigorously deliver. Now, what we have discussed about up until now is related to academics, but extracurricular activities are an equally essential part of British curriculum, because then these are the activities, these are the areas of learning that instill different skills in children, like leadership and resilience and confidence and creativity, all those things. So that's why you must have had a chance to look at our calendar. You do get to know about the different activities, the different competitions that are being conducted in school at all times, and this is the reason behind why those activities and events are planned, because these are an equal essential part to develop their leadership skills and teamwork. Apart from this, there are other activities like debate competitions, STEM challenges, science and innovation exhibition like Ms. Karuna mentioned. There are literacy weeks being celebrated, maths challenges being extended to the parents, and they are encouraged for children to participate in them, because these are equally important part of our curriculum. Reading is something how you can support your child in what we deliver here is just to read with them. Spend time talking to them, reading with them, having conversations, communicate with them, because that's where the development happens, and the basic reading skills are developed. That helps children in the overall performance of everything that's happening in the classroom every single day. It is, schools do deliver British curriculum across the world, but it's BSME It's a BSO accreditation that is required to showcase that whether it's a school that is actually following the Britishness of the curriculum. And we are a BSME member school. We are now going ahead for the BSO accreditation as well. But this is very important for you to know that the curriculum that you've chosen for your children, the school you've chosen for your children to access British curriculum is actually accredited to deliver it. Okay, and that will only happen if the team that comes in and they see that yes, we are working on the terms exactly as per it is intended to be delivered. So it does have our British curriculum has very high standards, and we need to continue to maintain those standards, because in the end, the individuals that we are preparing for the coming years need to have all those standards instilled within them, and that is the reason why we had this meeting today, because it is very important for you to understand that why we do what we do, and why different strategies are put in place, why there are different ways that we do marking and feedback, why our assessments are different, why our learning happening in classroom is different, why is it not presentation? Because it cannot be. It cannot be. Working in traditional ways can never result in developing children's personalities in the way that we foresee it to be. So that was it. As I said, you all need to be aware, parents need to know why British curriculum standards are set so high, because the outcome we are asking out of it is all that is going to benefit our students for the rest of their lives. So thank you so much for the day today. I will now call Ms. Rima.
The only thing I'm going to add in this that Ms. Sophia is just, we missed putting it here, and we're in the process of getting a Pearson's Examination Center accreditation as well, which should be announced to most of our families by the end of October, because we're already in the process of it. It takes a lot again to be an accredited examination center, which means that our children, when they reach their examination cycle, which is hopefully by May, we're looking at a window in May itself, based on our preparation level, they can actually sit the exam within our school. So it takes a lot to get that accreditation as well, because we're in the process of that. So we're in the right trajectory. You've chosen the best school possible for your children. The best team is here, supporting the journey. Like I said, it's partnership working. You can't do this alone. We can't do this alone. We've got to get along with the experts that we have. We've got experts right from early years all the way to year 10. And the finale for us will be our IGCSE, which is year 11. So we're here. We're here solidly here as a school, building on and nurturing every child. So thank you so much for the trust. And the beginning of the academic year, which is the first month, is done by. It went beautifully, and now starts all of the activities and all of the events and everything that that just builds. So the first month is always tough for us, settling the children, getting to know the parents. So thank you so much. I know this was a very, very informative and heavy, dense workshop, but we needed to share that with families who wanted to come. The other ones that you'll see in the future are more hands-on workshops, where you'll be able to experience what teaching and learning looks like. So we'll continue to have this. If you're free, you want to know more about it, we're always here. So come and meet us. Thank you so much once again. If there's any questions, just pop in and ask.
Making the French language here.
Yes.
It cannot be selective by adding one or two languages, for example, French, Urdu, or any other language to be selected for the kids.
Yeah.
I don't
So-
want to learn French, for example.
Absolutely.
It's not used for me.
Okay. Yeah. So at City School, so as the City School policy across the globe, because we've got 450 odd schools, so there are certain decisions that the school group takes as well. So yes, French is one of the international languages that can sail through with children towards their university years and all of that, and also make a qualification out of it in their IGCSE years. So there are certain languages, yes, they can learn, which is the native language of Urdu, but unfortunately they can't make IGCSE qualifications out of that. So there is a conscious decision that is always taken, because we need to offer one per language. We don't want to overburden them. because there are very few children who generally pursue language into their university years. So what we've also looked at is also the consideration of where the core subjects needs to be and the time that needs to be given for that. There's also the timetabling of the day, and not so much that we can fit in where we can do another fourth language as well. Because the problem with us being, not the problem, it's also, I don't know whether to say it's a problem or not. When you're living in the UAE, they must mandatorily learn Arabic. So that takes away a lot of curriculum time from us. So we really can't fit in as much because the curriculum time for Arabic and Islamic, because we live French being the one that is usually also delivered with other schools in the UAE. And it's also an international language that in case we move back to any other country, French is a language that is being offered internationally in almost all the countries where British curriculum is there. So there's a lot that goes on to consideration of the language that you choose to deliver within the school as such. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Getting my O-levels from the city school itself.
Yes. Yeah.
So I just want to ask, how has IGCSE changed from 2010 to
See, the curriculum model hasn't changed much. There hasn't been many updates. What happens is with the delivery partners, which is like we're doing Pearson's. I wonder what the board that was chosen at City School at that time, because I know they do all period right from primary all the way to secondary, so that it's like we always say, it's a spiral, curriculum. They need that in their advanced learning, and it's within that one particular curriculum framework that they can walk through. The curriculum as such, the model is exactly the same. Nothing changes in any of that. It's the delivery content and the content providers and the publishers who support us in the journey and the process. So with Pearson's, one of the benefits we have seen, and the reason why many of the schools are looking at the change, is they've got something called as a modular approach. Okay, which in simple layman's term, it allows children to do certain board exams in first year and certain, so they can write it, finish it off, and then look at certain subjects in the next finale year. So it takes away the burden of doing the entire subject course at one go. There are some subjects that we don't have a choice, it is a linear structure, they will have to do it, but in certain others. So we are actually looking at that as an option. Which is why I said, possibly in May, if our children are ready and prepared for it, they would be sitting down for certain modules and certain areas of the subject now and finish off. So it is quite flexible and very easier for the children.
So we can do certain subjects in grade 9 and 10 and
Yes, in year 10 and 11. Yes, so it's a 3-year pathway. Not many schools actually offer a 3-year pathway. They start only for 2 years because that's where they write their examinations. But for us, we're sailing it through 3 years. So the IGCSE pathway, it's a course of 3 years. So we are 9, 10 and 11 to finish here. Thank you. Any other questions? Everything feels good? Yeah. Please reach out because like we say, every child is different, every journey is different. If you have any queries as to why, what's happening, my child is not getting this, not getting that,